it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Good morning. Hope you have a good day. Today's episode, we've got a T-54 Lightweight from 7th Cav Trooper Clan, GAT, G-A-T-T. Sent me a note, said, hey, can you take a look at this? It was a loss. How could I turn it into a win? And those are always some of the more interesting ones. Taking a look at a game that was close, that somebody did pretty well in, and figure out how do you win this. He said that his clan was founded on those kind of principles where don't blame the game, right? Stop blaming things, start managing them, that kind of thing. Learn from your mistakes, all that good stuff. And I completely agree. They sent this to me and said, hey, let's have a fresh set of eyes. I said, great, I'll take a look at it. Because it is interesting to me to debrief these and look at those little areas where if you'd done a little bit better or done something maybe a little bit different, how could that have affected the game? And it really starts from the very beginning, right? It really starts in the garage, how you set up your tank, what your crew looks like, what your skills are, what kind of consumables you carry, all that stuff. It looks like he's got large consumables and an automatic fire extinguisher. There you go. All good. He's in his T-54 Lightweight Tier 9. So the next thing you want to do is you take a look at the setup. Looking over at the other side, not a lot of heavies involved in this game. Just a couple on each team. He's got a platoon. That's going to be an advantage, or should be for them. They have a platoon, but it's EBR Hotchkiss down at the bottom. This is airfield spawned over onto the west side. And as he noted in his note, that this is a difficult map late game because there's a lot of open ground you have to cross to get to the campers. Let's take a look at it, though. We're going to just step by step look at where are some of the places that 7th Cav could have just squeezed out a little bit more damage, be a little bit more effective. Where were the mistakes, and what are some of the things he could have done? Obviously, as always, down in the comments, if you have anything to add, go for it. We're all here to learn. So he's going to go to a position I like quite a bit early on for light tanks. This is a medium kind of light tank, and needs to spit out the damage. One thing you need to realize on this, and I think he does, is that he's top tier. There's a T-49 on the other side and a Kunze-Panzer. He's got a Leopard and himself. He's going to have to contribute damage. All right? Not only is he going to fill the scout role for his tank, he also needs to fill the do some damage role. So we're going to go up to this perch that I like quite a bit. As I said, where can I get just another shot? An earlier shot, do a little more damage. That means the bad guy dies maybe a little earlier, or he is a little more tentative. All the things that will then snowball past that particular shot. And the earlier you do the damage, the better. So I'm going to give you one example of that right here. We're going to come up this hill. And I see this EBR. And this EBR is going to come right through the middle there. You're one of the fastest tanks in the game. You really don't want to sit here too long and let somebody come up on this ramp and shoot you. But if this EBR is going to scream by and give me a shot, why not stop right about here? Also, why not stop right about here? Regardless of the EBR, I like to sit here and wait for guys to come up and pop them in the side. You can even shift your hole a little bit so that it's shifted, the front of it is shifted left, so that you don't have the whole side of your tank sticking out right there. So your little side scrape, get a shot, and we could have probably shot this EBR. So there's an early, what, 240, is that what this gun does? Something 250? 250. That's an early 250 on the Hotchkiss as he goes raging by there trying to get a scouting run. All right? That's just one example of what I'm talking about. So it's a good position up here. I like this position. I don't know why you turtled up there. Maybe you thought you were spotted or something. I don't know. And then we're going to come out here and start getting shots on the IS-76. Okay, we did that. Doesn't work. We get a critical. He disappears. He's outside of our spotting range. Somebody else saw him, and we're kind of waiting, is he going to appear? Well, guess what? During that time, that happened. There's another shot, all right? So early like this where there's a lot of guys lit, okay, perfect world, you'd have gone, well, that guy's gone, and seen him, come over here and put a shot into the side of the Centurion 5-1. Go for it, but you're a little bit late. Oftentimes on games that are close and good, it really is that nitnoid about the things that you could have done better, right? How many people are able to do what I just described? Maybe not a lot of us. Even good players, maybe not able to do that quite a bit. But I talk about this a lot, gathering SA, and that's what those two things were. Paying attention to the minimap, paying attention to where the purple tanks are going, red tanks, whichever color you got going on. And when you don't have a shot, zooming out and looking for the next shot. So I shoot him. Why not just go like, all right, what else is going on? I'm on a reload, and then zoom right back in. Right? The reload, you got 4, 5, 6 seconds. That's an eternity. Go, what else is going on? So we're just going to kind of zoom in on this guy. All right, good. We got our advantage. That's what I'm talking about. You zoomed out and started looking around. Camera technique-wise, I do kind of look around a bit to see what's going on a little bit more. But you are getting shots here, so that's all good. Shot, fantastic. So a couple early damaging shots. That's all good. The enemy team makes a push down in the south, which goes poorly for them. And it actually turns out to create an advantage for your team that they're not able to take advantage of, because unfortunately they hang out in the middle a little bit too long. We'll get to that in just a minute. This map does lend itself to pushes on both sides. The south push is not as good, especially early on, because of what's happening to the enemy team. They're getting absolutely waylaid trying to get in there, and then your team's going to return the favor by doing the same thing. This well goes dry quite a bit. This well that you're in goes dry quite a bit. And about this point, I would start thinking about, and this is one of the big points, all right? So one of the smaller points early is look for more shots. I think you missed 2 shots in there, all right? Yeah, you'd had to have been on top of your game to get those 2 shots, but you missed 2 shots that you had in there. And now I got to look at this and go, what is going on here overall? They have 3 dead. They have an artillery. There's a Su-130 hiding in the back somewhere, maybe a JP and a T-25 AT, but I have an IS-6 and Barras in the south. The Kunzenpanzer and 5-1 in the middle. The IS I know is somewhere around the cap. Boy, that doesn't really leave a whole lot over here on the heavy side. Like, there's an FCM-50T that's spotted, and I have a bunch of help right here right now, although they've taken some hits. So I have to imagine either the artillery or potentially a TD or 2 are hitting them as they come around the corner. That's something to look out for, but it's all SA. And now I got to start thinking about, well, maybe I get rid of this 50T. Maybe I get rid of this 50T. I think I would have gone for that shot. I spotted him. He sort of backed out hesitantly and then came in with a harder shot. I think once I saw him right there, I'd have gone forward and let him have it. Of course, the Kunze was right there. So now I'm really thinking what you should have been doing is turned around, come down here, turn around, come down here, and see if you can start working a shot on the 50T. Maybe even spot the Su-130 back there and figure out where he is. You do have to be careful. I mean, if he's just sitting there staring, you might get a shot on you. But at some point, you do have to risk some kind of exposure to start turning things around or to start creating some leverage for your team. So right now, you're just doing the master support kind of guy. But at some point, your tier 9 top tier guy has to start getting the crowbar out and leveraging what's going on. Right? This is just a pure reactive position right now. Looks like your team's attempting to get in on the 50T, but they're getting pummeled by the Arty and potentially the Su-130. So what's going on behind you is no bueno, right? And we're kind of sitting here staring, and I think you're thinking about it, but the time is now. So the JP's kind of wandering around the middle. There's your team now pushing in. They're about to learn the lesson of pushing into the open area and the campers back there. Really, if they'd have just rushed all of them up and over and around these guys, they'd have cleaned them up very quickly, even with the Barask back there. But they're being, it's kind of one of these half pushes. Not really, nobody's really committing until maybe one guy commits and the rest of them sit there trying to snipe, and we finally turn around and try to start messing with this 50T. Now, one thing about this 50T that you just learned is he's shooting HE. That is going to make me feel a lot better about maybe pushing in and trying to take him down. Alright, the leverage thing I talked about. Your team's done a pretty decent job in the south. They have a lot of their tanks locked up down there. There's at least 3 or 4 that are spotted. So 4 it looks like to me. IS, Lance and C, Barask, and the Kunzenpanzer. That's 4 of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that are left. You know the FCM's right there. So there's only 3 left out there to deal with. I think at this point then, in order to break this open, you go at one of these flanks. So you either pile in and help over here, or you turn around and you work on the 50T and try to help keep alive the 3 tanks that you have over here. Kunzenpanzer dies. We're sort of rocking back and forth, and we've made no move. And now we're going to come off of the front here. T-49's there, our guys sort of push in. Slowly get off here, and now we'll push in. Alright, you have a shot on the 49. I agree with this. This is good. Get that shot. There you go. Back out. Didn't get us lit, which was crazy. He must have been lit by someone else, and he got away from the bush far enough that you were dark. T-25 AT. All right, so we're working shots we have. The question then I have for you is, what's the plan?
We didn't even scratch them.
Right? I always ask this of people. What is the plan? What are you just taking shots as they come? Are you looking at the map for the next piece of map you want to control? Are you looking at the map for the next vulnerable flank that you can get to? What's the plan? Come up here. And I'm thinking you're going to start taking the north flank, and I'm thinking that's not a bad idea. Where is the Su-130? It'd be nice to find that guy. We don't get lit. But we're only curious enough to do that, and then we turn around. And we come back here. And we're kind of peeking. And we turn around. We're coming back up here. And you mentioned in your note that your late game you learn to be careful and you try to make the enemy team make mistakes. Or wait for them to make mistakes. Actually, what you said was wait for them to make mistakes. What you really want to do is try to make them make mistakes. That's the key to winning these. You can win them if you let them make mistakes, but your win percentage is going to be lower than if you skillfully make them make mistakes. And you make them make mistakes by collapsing a flank, by moving your tank to your team's strong point, which is kind of the south, although they're all losing hit points. Look at them. Everyone is peeking and poking and losing hit points. Nobody has a plan. There's no plan here. There's no move to clean up a flank. You come around here. You've got hit points, right? So I've asked you about 4 or 5 times, what's the plan? I would have earlier tried to take on this 50T and work on the Su-130, but if you didn't like that because the Su-130 was bushed up and could cause you problems, then really this southern flank was the next logical place to go. And yes, it's open area, but you are a fast tank with actually decent armor. Come around the south, the very south part, and come across and get up in here and start lighting these guys up so your snipers can take them on. Or just come up over the top, down the hill, and do the same thing. Yes, there's a Lance and there's a Barras, there's a lot of guns there. But you've got to leverage, right? You've got to leverage your team's strengths and position. And all this is just kind of, there you go, nice job. All this is just kind of peeking and poking and hoping the enemy makes a target of themselves. The Barras did. But we lost 2 tanks getting there. We lost 2 tanks getting there. So the FCM is on low hit points. And he's in the middle. The Lanson was up on the hill. The 50T, there he is with his low hit points. We missed a shot there, by the way. There's another example of SA. I saw him moving. I would have stopped immediately, zoomed in, and waited for him to cross that opening, because that's exactly what he did. He was running away. So there's another missed shot right there. Fantastic. Found that guy. That's perfect. All right. What do we know? Su-130's there. 1 shot. You have an artillery. FCM is there. 400. He's going to take 2. Lanson was last seen over there. All 3 of them are on this flank. I would ignore the T-49 for now. Yeah, it's a bummer. He's on your flank. Not a lot you can do with him. You're not going to find him. These are the guys you can find and kill much faster. I thought you were going to go right up this ramp and just start taking these dudes on. We sort of stopped. And we're going to come up here. And we're going to go far. And what's the plan? Holy cow. That surprised me. I thought you were going to come around this corner, get in here, and get rid of this 50T. Or get closer up to this wall that you could then start seeing the Su-130. So get a shot on the Su-130 because you can spot him from that range. Artillery comes in, takes on the FCM. Maybe even the 2S supports you. Right? You've got them all trapped over here. And a lot of them are one-shots and easily killable. And we're futzing around over here on the south part of the west part of the map. And holy cow, the Lanson's made a move. So there's a player that's actually made a move forcing the enemy to make a mistake. And that's a bummer. Now all 3 of them are over here. Now all 3 of them are over here. There goes the prototype, and we're in really bad shape now. And there goes the 54.
Track hit.
Missed opportunity there with the shot. We go ahead and fix it by shooting. That's good. All right, now what? Yeah, not a great situation. So we need to push into a flank and take a guy out, or just get out of here. And I think for my money, I head south and maybe go try to find the T-49 and get rid of him. I certainly don't want 2 tanks to find. Certainly don't want to find 2 tanks, especially if I can't see them. But what we do is we turn around and we find the T-49 running. Okay, good on you. I would have stopped right there. There was no real reason to move forward. That bush was going to let you shoot him without being seen.
Enemy is hit.
He goes around the corner, and we head off this one. I thought, great, he's going to chase the T-49. Oop, get hit by the Lance. That's to be expected. There's 3 lanes in 3 different directions. He's on a reload now. He's on a reload now. I'd have kept going. Just keep going. Get out of there. You don't want to be in the same spot, because now they're just going to collapse on where you are. They saw you turn around and turtle up against the rock. That means they can all collapse together on you. 3 guys. So it's time to become unpredictable. Use the mobility. I thought, all right, great, he's going to head out of here. There's the Lance.
One of our tracks is damaged.
Doesn't damage us, though. This is a bummer. All right, now here's where I wanted to talk about gold usage. Man, I'd have pressed 2, maybe a shot or 2 ago. I need these shots to pin. There are no points for gold round, special round, premium round orthodoxy. Dab that 2, get that pin, start taking guys out. All right, so we're messing around, we're back and forth. So I'm going to ask you, 7th Cav. I mean, what's the expectation here, right? What's the plan? I'm just going to try to take all 3 of them on when they all collapse on me. You know, I don't think I would have zoomed out at the Lance and see. Take your shots, and I think I would have got out of there. I need to use my maneuverability to move around. I'm faster than most of these guys. I can get around. I can get around the map pretty good. I need to force them to make a mistake. All right. Playing peek-a-boom, it's hard to force people to make a mistake, especially when it's 3-on-1. There isn't artillery, so part of it may be that you're hoping the artillery will come help you. That was just an overextension. I don't know why he came out so far. Be careful with that. I think you probably could have baited a shot, maybe. Or come out just enough with some angle, little left shift with some angle to hit him. He's on a reload, man. I mean, really, you have to get rid of this dude. And he's on a reload, and you reload faster. Not by much. But you know what? At this point, it is what it is. You got to go in. And he's stunned, by the way. Take advantage of that. All right? That whole time he was stunned, he's a slower reload. So you may have actually got 2 for 1 on this one, based on his stun. Okay? So we finally get in here. He's had a lot more time to reload. It takes a while to get around and get a shot, and we eat a shot. All right, cool. Got that guy. Good Lord, this is a terrible position. It's not a great one, but I got to go find some cover. I don't know where the dumb Su-130 is. Is he still up on that hill? Goodness knows. So pick a direction and go. All right. There's 3 choices. You go up, you go left, you go straight for that low point there. I think I go for that low point right there. I go for that low point, and then if I don't get spotted by the Su-130 and the T-49's not over here, then I work my way this way and try to get back up in here and do something different. But it's hard for me to understand why we went this way. And then just late getting the gun on, surprising that the Su-130 came at that point. He must have been moving for a while. That means he wasn't really supporting his Lancen, because as soon as he saw the Lancen crossing, he should have come at you. About the time the Lancen, you and the Lancen swirled, probably 10, 15 seconds ago, this guy should have come up and over and just ended you. He got there late, but it ends up working out for him. It takes you a while to get your gun on him right there. All right, man, so that's a lot. Do any one of those things or 2 or 3 of those things turn this around? It's hard to tell. You know what I'm saying? I think so, though, because if you look at the hit point difference, it's 692 to 450. So you talk about the 3 or 4 shots that were pretty valid shots that you missed the opportunity to take. Again, I'm not saying I would have took every one of those and managed it, but those were there. They were opportunities. They were hittable, shootable tanks based on what was going on. Hindsight, yes, there's a million other things going through your brain while that's happening, but that's why you do a debrief, is to look for other opportunities you may have had. So you take 2 of those, you take 3 of those, and it erases the 692. Right? You take 2 of those, and there's another gun gone. See what I'm saying? And I know it doesn't directly correlate that way, but you understand what I'm saying. And then I think one of the bigger problems, then, not just the little mechanical pieces of taking shots that you missed, is leveraging the opportunities and becoming a more active participant, and then having a plan. And the plan can change. You'll have to let us know down below. You may very well have had a plan. The problem with the one-way discussion like this is you're not there then to answer questions about what you were thinking and all that good stuff. But it did appear to me that in several cases there really wasn't much of a plan other than reacting to shots. And that really is that big key that turns that 55% guy into something above, right? All the way up to 65%. The guys who look at it, analyze it, and come up with a plan quicker. And the plan may change based on the situation. It should change based on the situation and how it flows. But a lot of times you see the lower 50% kind of players, and in 55, and even at my level on occasion, you see people kind of like, I don't really know what to do. When you watch some of these other 60%ers and above, they rarely come to a point where they don't know what they're going to do. They have a plan, they start executing, change if they need to. But you have several opportunities to leverage situations and try to take guys down. That really late game part then for the last bit of the debrief here is you've got to go after low hit point guys and get them out of the game. You can't just turtle up and let them come. You can, but it's not as effective as being slightly more cautiously aggressive and getting rid of those guys. And we talked about a couple of those opportunities right there position-wise. Try not to be as predictable as well on your positioning and what you're doing. That's all I've got. Let me know down below what everybody thinks. There's probably about a dozen other things I missed in there. Thanks for tuning in. That's all I've got. See you guys later.